Hello friends, in this particular lecture we are going to study the introduction to synchronous machine. So this is our first lecture for module 1 for the course of electrical machines 4, which is for third year electrical semester 6 students for Mumbai University. So in this particular lecture we are going to cover all these points. That is, first of all, I will give you introduction related to AC machines. Then we will study the construction of synchronous machine. Then the types of synchronous machine depending upon the types of rotor. So that two types are salient pole or projecting pole type, and another type is a cylindrical rotor or wound rotor type synchronous machine. After that, we will compare these two synchronous machine, that is salient pole machine and cylindrical rotor machine. Then we are going to study the advantages of a rotating field. Actually, in synchronous machine, the field winding is rotating and armature winding is a stationary winding. So we are going to study the advantages of that rotating field winding. And then we conclude this particular lecture by uh, concepts of hydro alternators and turbo alternators. So I think all of you are familiar with the different AC machines. You have learned that particular machines in various courses. So AC machines are broadly classified into two different types. So that types are, first one is the synchronous machine and another type is asynchronous machine. So name itself suggests that synchronous machines are the machines which runs at a synchronous speed or which works at a synchronous speed. Whereas asynchronous machines, which are also termed as induction machines, are generally works at a speed which is different than the synchronous speed. So synchronous machines again classified into two types depending upon the mode of operation. So that is synchronous generators, which are generally termed as alternators, and another is the synchronous motor. So these two types depends upon the mode of operation. As all of you are familiar with that, the operating modes of any machine depends upon the energy input and energy output. So when we provide mechanical energy as an input to machine, and if we obtain electrical energy in the form of output, then that machine is generally generator. Whereas if we provide the electrical energy as an input and if we obtain mechanical energy as an output from the machine, then that operating mode is generally motoring mode. So depending upon this mode of operations, synchronous machines are classified into two different types. That is synchronous generator and another one is synchronous motor. So synchronous generator is the primary source of electrical energy. So in different power plants, number of alternators are connected in parallel. So whatever alternators which are used in power plant for the generation of electricity are the synchronous generators. So synchronous generators are widely used in different power plants for electricity generation. Therefore, it can act as a primary source of electrical energy. And another is synchronous motor. Synchronous motors are generally not used as a load in consumer premises, but these particular motors are used as a power factor compensation devices. So that is known as a synchronous condenser. So whenever overexcited synchronous machines are connected in system, that overexcited synchronous machine is the source of reactive power. So always overexcited synchronous machine operates as a power factor compensator. And this is also well-known application of a synchronous motor, that is as a power factor compensation device. So generally that is termed as a synchronous condenser. Now, again, if we talk about induction machine, then induction machines again classified into two different types, that is induction generator and induction motor. Now, induction generators are generally not used in power. systems for load applications. So due to lack of separate field excitation, these machines are very rarely used in power system as a generator. Whereas in case of induction motor, these machines are widely used in power system as a load condition or as a load applications in various industrial as well as domestic applications. So if we consider the load analysis, then out of total load on power system, around 70% load is a load of induction motors. So that induction motors are generally used as a load in various domestic applications. So like ceiling fans or water pumps or in industrial applications. So three-phase induction motors are widely used in industries for various applications. So this is the general classifications of AC machines, and in this particular course, our main focus is on synchronous machine. So we are going to study the synchronous machine, that is synchronous alternator, synchronous motor, in detail. Okay. So now, what is synchronous machine? So synchronous machines are generally doubly excited AC machines with a two windings. The two main windings are, one is the armature winding, which is in distributed form, and another one is the field winding, which is the concentrated field winding. So as machine consists two different windings, and that machine is excited with two separate sources, therefore these machines are generally doubly excited machines. So in synchronous machines, two windings are present. One winding is on stationary stator part, which is the distributed in form, and that is actually armature winding, and another winding is a concentrated rotating field winding. Again, there are two different forms. That forms are depends upon the mode of operation. So that machines have two different types. One is synchronous generators, which are termed as alternators, and another one is a synchronous motor. Now, depending upon the applications or depending upon these forms, if we talk about alternators, then alternators is universally employed machine for generation of electrical energy at different power plants. So in steam power plant, hydroelectric power plant, or gas turbine power plant, whatever generators are used for generation of electricity, all that generators are generally synchronous generators or alternators. Now, these alternators are the largest size electrical machines. So among all electrical machines, alternators have a large size. So the ratings of these particular machines are also high. So the highest rating of alternator is 1700 megawatts. So very high rated electrical machines are there, and these machines are generally alternators because these machines are generally used in various power plants. Now, there are two main windings in synchronous machine. One winding is the armature winding. So armature winding is generally present on stator of synchronous machine, and this winding is similar to stator winding of three-phase induction machine. So if you recall the three-phase induction machine concepts, then in three-phase induction machine, stator winding is distributed in different armature slots. In similar way, there is a stator winding for or armature winding for three-phase synchronous machine is there. Now this winding is generally distributed AC winding. So that is uniformly distributed along the stator core or along the stator periphery. Now, depending upon mode of operation, the three-phase armature winding either absorbs or delivers AC power. So these winding generally absorbs or import AC power under motoring mode. So whenever synchronous machine runs as a synchronous motor, then this armature winding is connected across a three-phase AC supply, and that will import or absorbs AC power from supply utility. So that works under motoring mode. Whereas when synchronous machine or when this armature winding delivers or export AC power under that particular case, this machine operates in generator mode or in generating mode. So whenever armature winding or whenever we draws or extract supply from armature winding, then that machine operates in generator mode. And during this particular mode of operation, armature winding always exports or delivers AC power to utility grid. Okay, so that is power flow is from armature winding towards external utility grid. Now, second winding which is present in case of synchronous machine is a field winding. So this field winding is again similar to the field winding of DC machine. But one important difference is there. If you recall concepts of a DC machine, then in DC machine, the armature winding is a rotating winding, whereas field winding is a stationary winding. So that is field winding is present on stator. But in synchronous machine, field winding is generally on a rotor. So there are a lot of advantages of this rotating field. We are going to discuss that particular advantages in this lecture itself. So this winding is similar to the field winding of a DC machine. Only this winding is present on rotating part of synchronous machine, which is on rotor. Now, nature of winding is a concentrated winding. That means this winding is concentrated DC winding, and always this winding absorbs a DC power from DC supply, whether machine operates in motoring mode or in generating mode. So always we connect this particular field winding to external DC supply, and always this winding absorbs or imports DC power from external supply. The main purpose of this field winding is to produce the required amount of magnetic field for the operation of synchronous machine. Okay, so whatever magnetic field or whatever flux which is required for operation of synchronous machine, that flux is generally produced or developed by field winding of synchronous machine. As I have already told that machine consists two winding. That machine windings excited with two different supplies. That is armature winding is a AC winding, field winding is a DC winding. Therefore, synchronous machines are generally termed as a doubly excited machines. Okay, synchronous machines are generally doubly excited AC machines. Okay. Now, along with these two windings, there is an additional winding. So that winding is generally damper winding or amorticier winding. Now, what is purpose of this damper winding or amorticier winding? So this damper winding is similar to the compensated winding in case of DC machine, which is houses in pole shoe. In DC machine, to nullify the effect of armature reaction or to reduce the effect of armature reaction, there is a compensating winding, and that compensating windings generally houses in pole shoes of a DC machine. Similarly, in case of synchronous machine, additional to the armature winding and field winding, there is a damper winding, and that damper winding also present in pole shoes of a DC machine, sorry, in synchronous machine. This winding is a short circuited. Okay, this winding is generally short circuited. So always these winding conductors are present on the rotor poles, and that rotor poles are short circuited at two terminals. So the structure of this entire short circuited windings looks like a cage of squirrel. So that is squirrel cage winding in case of three-phase squirrel cage induction motor. Now, what is basic function of these two windings? That is, this damper winding generally serves two different functions. The first function is to damp out the rotor oscillations. So during the operation of synchronous machine, there may be damping in rotors or there may be oscillations present in rotor, and to damp out that oscillations, the damper windings are used. Another application is, as synchronous machine or synchronous motors are not self-starting motors, therefore to start that synchronous motor, we use this damper winding. So damper windings can be used as a starting winding for synchronous motor. Okay, so there are two different types of motor starting. That is, one is auxiliary machine starting and another one is the damper winding starting. We are going to study that particular types in detail in module synchronous motor. So for starting purpose of synchronous motor, we use this damper winding. So these three windings generally present in case of synchronous machine. Now let us proceed towards the construction of synchronous alternator or construction of synchronous machine. So synchronous machine generally consists of two parts similar to another or all other machines. So that first part is a stationary part which is termed as a stator. Second part is a rotating part which is termed as a rotor. So the type of synchronous machines generally based on the geometrical structure of rotor. That is, types of synchronous machine depends upon the types of rotors. So depending upon the geometrical structure of rotors, there are two different types of synchronous machines. That one is the cylindrical rotor or non-salient pole or round rotor type synchronous machines, and second one is a salient pole or projecting pole type synchronous machine. Now the first type, that is cylindrical rotor synchronous machines, are generally used in steam power plants, that is in thermal power plant, nuclear power plant, in gas power plant along with steam turbine. Therefore, these machines also term as a turbo alternators. Whereas a salient pole machines or projecting pole machines use with hydro turbines in hydroelectric power plants. Therefore, these machines generally term as a hydro alternators. Okay. So these two types generally based on the geometrical structure of rotor. Now let us see the construction of a stator. So stator of a synchronous machine is similar to the stator of three-phase induction machine. So whatever outer cylindrical frame is there, that outer cylindrical frame is known as yoke, and that yoke is generally made up of a welded steel sheets or cast iron. So yoke structure is always made up of some ferromagnetic material which gives the low reluctance path for a return flux or for air gap flux. Therefore, that is always made up of either welded sheet steel or cast iron, which provides the low reluctance path for air gap flux. Now, whatever entire yoke structure is there, that magnetic path is generally made up of a slotted steel laminations, which is known as a stator core. So stator core generally provides this magnetic path, and stator core is always a laminated core that is made up of steel laminations to reduce the eddy current losses. Okay. So to decrease the power loss due to eddy current, magnetic path is generally laminated structure that will increase the effective resistance of entire stator core. Now, these laminations are made up of a CRGO, okay, and with 0.5 mm thickness. So each lamination is insulated from its adjacent lamination with thin layer of varnish, so that there will be no any electric connection or electric contact between two adjacent laminations. So they are electrically isolated from each other. That will increase the effective resistance of entire stator core, and that will reduce the flow of eddy current inside stator core. Ultimately, that will decrease the power loss due to eddy current. Now, whatever three-phase distributed winding is there, that three-phase distributed windings are placed inside the slot of laminated core. So if you look the construction of a stator of synchronous machine, this outer frame is actually stator frame. Okay, so this is stator frame. Inside that stator frame, there is a laminated stator core. So inside the inner periphery, there is a laminated stator core which consists these stator slots, and through that stator slots we placed a three-phase distributed armature winding. So these armature winding terminals are laid out at the terminal boxes. So we connect these particular terminals to external load during generating mode, or we connect this particular armature winding to external supply during motoring mode. So this is about the construction of stator in case of synchronous machine. Now, as I have already told that there are two different types of rotor depending upon the geometrical structure of rotor. So that rotors are salient pole rotor and cylindrical rotor. So let us see the structure of salient pole rotor or construction of salient pole or projecting pole type rotor. So this figure indicates the four pole alternator with a salient pole rotor. Okay, so this is actually rotating part. So rotor is not complete cylindrical rotor. So that is made up of salient poles. Okay, so these are the salient poles, and that salient poles are fitted at a central shaft to form entire rotating structure. So this outer structure is actually stator. This is actually poles, and the field winding is wounded over this pole core. Okay. So this particular structure of rotor has some features which are, so salient poles have the concentrated field windings. So field windings are wounded over the salient poles, and that field windings are connected to DC supply. The winding of this field winding is in such a way that the alternate magnetic poles will form on adjacent physical poles. That means we wound this salient field winding on salient poles in such a way that the current flowing through winding is adjusted in such a way that the alternate magnetic poles will form on adjacent salient poles. So on this particular pole, if there is a south pole, then on its adjacent pole, there will be north pole. So again, this entire rotor is made up of a laminated poles. So this each pole is a laminated structure that will reduce the eddy current losses. In case of salient pole synchronous machines, the number of poles is always greater than 4. So as number of poles are more than 4, or as number of poles are more as compared to cylindrical rotor machines, the synchronous speed is definitely less, because synchronous speed is inversely proportional to number of pole. We know that we calculate that synchronous speed as ns is equal to 120 into frequency divided by number of poles, 120 f divided by p. So as number of poles are more than 4, the salient pole synchronous machines generally operates at a less speed. Now, if we calculate the XD and XQ, XD is the D-axis reactance, that is direct axis synchronous reactance. XQ is quadrature axis reactance. So these both XD and XQ are not same. That is direct axis reactance and quadrature axis reactance are unequal as air gap is not uniform. So as air gap is non-uniform, therefore direct axis and quadrature axis reactances are not equal. Now, along with this field winding, there is an additional winding present on rotor, and that additional winding is houses or embedded in these rotor poles, which is actually damper winding. And as I have already explained, that damper winding is made up of copper bars and short circuited at both ends, and that are used to damp out the rotor oscillations and to start the synchronous motor. Now, as a number of poles are more than 4, therefore salient pole rotors are generally used for a slow speed machines which has a large diameter and smaller axial length. Okay, because number of poles are more. So to house this large number of poles, the diameter of entire machine must be high, as well as their axial length should be less. So this particular construction is used to reduce the centrifugal stresses on the rotor structure, because here entire rotor is made up of different poles. So there may be chances of deformation of the pole due to the centrifugal forces, and to reduce that particular centrifugal forces or effect of centrifugal forces, the diameter of this particular machine is kept small, and sorry, diameter is kept large, and their axial length is generally small. Second type of synchronous machine is a cylindrical rotor synchronous machine. So if you observe the cross section of cylindrical rotor synchronous machine, the entire rotor is made up of a cylindrical structure, again that is laminated structure, and the windings are placed over this rotor periphery. That winding is actually field winding. So again, depending upon the type of slots, there may be parallel slots, radial slots, rotors are there. So this is actually cylindrical rotor synchronous machine. So rotor is made up of a cylindrical laminated structure. So the general features of cylindrical rotor synchronous machines are: the cylindrical rotors have the distributed field winding. Then these entire rotor is again made up of laminated core to reduce the eddy current losses. Number of poles in case of cylindrical rotor synchronous machines are 4 or less than 4. So as number of poles are less, therefore these machines are used for high speed applications because synchronous speed is more. As the air gap is uniform, therefore the direct axis reactance XD and quadrature axis reactance XQ both are equal, and that are equal to synchronous reactance XS. So XD and XQ both are equal, and that XD XQ is equal to XS, and this is only due to the uniform air gap between stator and rotor. So if you look towards this figure, in between stator structure and rotor, the air gap is uniform, whereas in case of salient pole machine, the air gap is minimum at pole shoe, whereas that air gap is maximum where pole structure is absent. Now, as this particular machine runs at very high speed, so these machines are used along with steam and gas turbine, which are generally designed for high speed applications. So we use these cylindrical rotor machines or cylindrical rotor along with the steam turbine and gas turbine. Now let us see some differences between these two structures, that is salient pole type synchronous machine and cylindrical rotor type synchronous machine. So let us try to differentiate these two machines. So this is actually the cross section view of a salient pole machines. So these are two poles, so it is a two pole salient pole machine. So rotor is salient pole rotor. So the axis which is along this rotor, that axis is generally direct axis. The axis which is quadrature to the direct axis, that axis is generally termed as a q axis or quadrature axis. The reactance of offered by machine along direct axis is termed as a direct axis reactance XD. The reactance offered by machine along quadrature axis is termed as a quadrature axis reactance XQ. Now here air gap is non-uniform. So if you look towards this particular structure, at rotor pole air gap is minimum. Then the structure or actually rotor poles are absent in this particular section. So air gap is maximum. So as air gap is non-uniform, XD and XQ both are unequal. Now let us see the cylindrical rotor machine. So this is actually cylindrical rotor. So in case of cylindrical rotor, again the D axis and Q axis I have shown over here. So the reactance XD and XQ along D axis and quadrature axis respectively. As air gap is uniform, so throughout rotor periphery in between stator and rotor, there is a uniform air gap. Therefore, XD and XQ both are equal. Now, depending upon the rotor structure, there are two different types of cylindrical rotor. So one is the parallel slot rotor. So in parallel slot, the rotor slots are parallel to each other. So these are actually parallel slot rotor. So in parallel slot rotor, the 1/3 portion of entire rotor structure is without slot, whereas 2/3 portion is a slotted structure. So along 2/3 structure of rotor, 2/3 portion of rotor, there are parallel slots, 1/3 is without slots. So again, air gap is not uniform in this particular case also. So there is a variation in air gap at slotted structure. So for parallel slot rotor cylindrical machine also, XD and XQ are not same. So there is a little bit difference between this XD and XQ. So XD XQ ratio is not equal to 1. XQ by XD ratio is never equal to 1. So that ratio is around 0.95 value. So that means XD and XQ, that ratio is nearly equal to 0.95. Another one is the radial slot rotor. So these rotor structures, rotor slots are radial slots. Okay, so this is actually radial slot rotor. Now, second difference in synchronous salient pole and cylindrical rotor synchronous machine is first is whatever structure, rotor structure, geometrical structure. I have explained that particular difference. Another difference is the air gap is non-uniform in case of a salient pole machine, whereas air gap is uniform in case of cylindrical rotor machine. As air gap is non-uniform, direct axis reactance and quadrature axis reactance are not same for salient pole machine, whereas in case of cylindrical rotor machine, XD and XQ both are equal and that are equal to synchronous reactance XS. Next, the number of poles are greater than 4. Number of poles are less than or equal to 4 for cylindrical rotor machine. For salient pole rotor machine, as the number of poles are more, so the diameter of that particular machine is more as compared to its axial length. As the number of poles are greater than 4, the machine generally operates at a low speed. So generally these machines are used in low speed applications. Here number of poles are 4 or less than 4. So we generally use these particular machines for high speed applications. Again, to house that large number of poles in actual structure, the core length is small, that is axial length of core is small, whereas the diameter of machine is more for accommodate these larger number of poles. For cylindrical rotor synchronous machine, the axial length is large. That means the axial length of that cylindrical rotor is more, whereas its diameter is small. So that will limit the large centrifugal forces due to high speed application. Okay. So the long length or large length cylindrical rotor along with smaller diameter will limit the effect of larger centrifugal forces which are developed due to high speed applications. Now, next is uh, basically salient pole synchronous machines are used in hydroelectric stations because these hydro generators in hydro generators the hydro generators driven at the hydro turbines. Hydro turbines are generally designed to operate at very low speed. Okay. Therefore, these salient pole machines are used in hydroelectric power plant to drive uh, or which are actually driven by hydro turbines, whereas uh, cylindrical rotor machines are used in steam power plants, which are driven at very high speed. Steam turbines are generally designed for high speed applications. So these cylindrical rotor machines are generally used in steam power plant, like thermal power plant, nuclear power plant, or gas power plants. Now, under fault condition, there are more chances of deformation of rotor due to non-uniform air gap for salient pole machine. So in salient pole machine, air gap is non-uniform. So whenever fault takes place on rotor side, then there will be large number of chances or more chances of deformation of rotor. Whereas in case of cylindrical rotor machine, under fault condition, as rotor is cylindrical, as air gap is uniform, so there are less chances of rotor deformation. Next is the output waveform for salient pole synchronous machine is not purely sinusoidal, so that contains more harmonics. Whereas for cylindrical rotor synchronous machine, the output waveform is more closer to sine wave. So that is the harmonics are less. Now last point is about the output power equation. So if we derive output power equation for salient pole synchronous machine, then that output power consists two component. One is the electromagnetic power and another one is the reluctance power. In our some next lecture, we are going to derive the output power equation for both salient as well as cylindrical rotor synchronous machine. So output power consists component of electromagnetic power as well as reluctance power, whereas in case of cylindrical rotor machine, output power is only electromagnetic power, which is given by EFVT upon XS into sine delta. So that is only electromagnetic power component is present in case of cylindrical rotor synchronous machine. So for this particular lecture, we are going to stop here. So in this lecture, we have seen the constructional features, the types, and the differences between the synchronous machine, that is in cylindrical rotor synchronous machine and in salient pole synchronous machine. So let's stop for this particular lecture. Thank you.